This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
All right. Hey, folks. Welcome back. Open Pagan Church. Well, today's probably going to be an interesting topic. If you haven't noticed yet, today's topic is, can mental illness affect your religion? Well, let's think about that for a minute while I bring in Discord.
There he goes.
Hello, Discord.
Hello, people.
Hello.
How do we diddling?
One day at a time, bro. One day at a time.
One day at a time. Yeah, buddy. Boy, I know that one, especially these days. All right, Cindy, I got your test. Thank you very much. Everything looks like it's working like it's supposed to this morning.
All right.
So,
There's a video.
Uh-oh.
There's one. Come on, Clint. Video.
No, I am naked.
Never mind. No video then, Clint.
No video.
Family channel, more or less.
Turn off my mind's eye.
Well, I'm naked from the waist up.
Oh.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey,
Hey, girl.
there she is. That'll be a Sandy.
Yep. I am. Good. I don't know. She's feeling good today. We're feeling good today.
And Debbie in Scotland says still alive and kicking. I'm alive, but I ain't kicking. I can't get my legs up that damn high anymore.
In the club.
That's why I use a cane.
Yeah, I hear you. Things keep going like they are. I'm gonna be caning before long.
Are
Right.
you there?
Huh? Ooh, what?
Nothing. Anyway. I'm just up.
Topic. Oh, right. Topic. Can mental illness affect your religion? Well, sure it can. Okay, show's over. No, I'm just kidding. I want to read a little bit from the description. Kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm going with this. Description says, of course it can. Mental illness affects every aspect of your life. In some cases, people have become so wrapped up in their religion, they lose themselves. Some cases where people blame their faith for their illnesses. So let's talk about your story and see how we all might be affected. Well, I do know that I have seen a boatload of people get ill, sick, mentally ill, whatever, and the first thing they want to do is blame one of the gods for it. Well, it ain't the God's fault, folks. And pardon the language, but shit happens.
Yes, it does.
For many people, many people, environmental anxieties, work-related stress, environmental stress, and a whole boatload of other things can cause mental illness. I can attest to that, especially as of late. Now for myself, and I'm not going to go into the whole big hoopla of what's going on with me, that's not what's important. But the whole big hoopla here is when my mental issues, shut up Lester, started coming about. I'm waiting on something. Yeah, see, I knew Lester was going to pull something over on me. But yeah, when it became doctor recognized, they just missed it all the other years. No. I did not, me personally, turn to my religion in such a way that I'm losing or lost track of self. Now, it did bother me. My stupid self was almost guilty reaching out to the gods for help because everybody's always looked at me as the strong one. Well, reality,
It's true.
Well,
everybody gets you put on your pedestal, and it.
Oh hell no! You put me on a pedestal, I'll jump off. That's not even what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
I've had people through the years put me on a God status, and I'm like, no, not my job. Don't want it. I don't want God status, nor am I even close to God status. Too damn much responsibility. But one of the things I had to do was admit that I'm human. Yeah, I know, God is forbid, right? And I then had to admit my own weaknesses. Wow, that really pissed me off. So what I did was turned to my counsel and spirit guides and said, okay, keep in mind, I'm on enough meds right now to sink a battleship. And my old ticker's not ticking like it used to. There's Clint. So what I asked mine was real simple. I need a little help handling this situation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, understand, I'm not putting my issues off on the gods. I'm simply asking for a little help. So,
A little guidance.
say again?
A little guidance.
Yes, guidance, a lot of
Guide.
guidance. But let's think about this, and I know I can't see who is actually watching the video live stream at this moment, but you guys in Discord and anybody else that cares to share, have you found that your illnesses that you might have, your mental illnesses that you might have, has affected, good, bad, or indifferent, your own religion?
I'll go first. I guess when I met you in '03, my mental status was bad because of a bad divorce. It was very hostile. Um, when I started going to the Chubbin over in Beaumont, they helped some, but it was more of a put it in a box and leave it alone from them. But then when I went to the Open Pagan, I mean Hope C, whatever you want to call it, um, it was more of you letting my feelings out to deal with them. So I was able to face it and deal with the emotions and what's going on. So, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to say you make a really excellent point. You never want to box up your emotions. Granted, you have to choose the moment in which to release them.
Yes.
That way you're not standing in a busy airport and start going batshit crazy and going all over the airport lounge. That might get you hauled away in a rubber coat. But
But with the religion with you, it's like, okay, I just had cancer, had surgery the first time. And then I had a divorce, and then some other things went south in my work life too. So it was like, okay, is this yeah, batshit,
and
I think the religion has helped me to be able to face it and to be calm about it.
right. And you know, to be perfectly honest, I've never told anyone I understand what you're going through because I didn't. My biggest pet peeve is when people tell people, "Oh, I know how you feel," when they ain't got a freaking clue how you feel.
Yes, I do.
Well, some of us do.
Some of us do.
Well, it's there. The context in "I know how you feel" is the context of I'm in your skin, I'm in your head, and I know exactly how you feel.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, you take it at face value. Yeah.
And a lot of people do, and that's the thing. Um, for myself and several others that I've talked to over the years, one of my biggest pet peeves is for somebody to tell me I know how you feel. No, no, you don't. Now, if you
You
want
don't
to,
wake up in this body every morning. You don't know how I feel.
right? I mean, I can get it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
can sympathize with it. You can empathize with it. You can do whatever you want, but you don't know how I feel.
That's right. And quite honestly, Lester, I love you to death, but I don't want to know how you feel. I got my own feelings to deal
Right.
with. But
Lester and Paul are about the same body wise, what I could see.
why, Lester doesn't have. Lester, you haven't been diagnosed with a bad heart yet, have you?
Nope.
No, just I mean skeletal.
But it's kind of doesn't help that I don't go to doctors, so I don't
Dude,
want to know.
yeah, and then there's this thing called $150 per doctor visit without insurance.
Right?
Um, we we live in a country that it's not important how you feel, it's important whether or not you pay your bill.
Right.
And that's sad. That's a shame, but it is what it is, and well, we're here.
You go to the doctor and you pay that first $150, and then they find something really wrong with you, and then you have to go to another doctor and another
And another
doctor.
doctor, and yeah, and then when it comes to a specialist, you're talking about $200 an hour.
Right. And then before you know it, because you don't have insurance, you have to sell your house, sell your car, just to pay the damn doctors off. The
Right,
hell with that. I'm gonna live my life. If I die, I die.
right, right. But here's the thing, really. How has uh, your illness has affected your religion, Lester? Or has it?
Really and truly, it hadn't. I mean, can't be as social as it used to be. Uh, Catholic Church in, I don't know, over 4 or 5 years, mainly because I couldn't bend down and put my knees on the prayer pillows because my knees don't work no more. Be Catholic, you got to sit, stand, kneel, sit, stand, kneel.
Well, it's good exercise, bruh.
The problem is you can't get up.
uh, oh, I could so go the wrong way with that one. Shut up, Don. Family channel. Anyway, so yeah. Um,
You see, I don't. You know me. I don't need to go to church.
no, no. Now, your spirituality has nothing to do with church anyway. That's like open pagan church. I mean, we're here for everybody,
Right.
pagan or not. It's like, hey, join in the conversation.
Give me a field and a couple of trees and I'm good.
Yeah, well, I hear that. Um, how about you, Paul?
Well, all right. Now I guess not everybody knows. Mine started from day one. Mine's not only physical, mental, but physical. I never got the answers I wanted to the questions that I have, which are why?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, so as far as it affecting my religion, I don't like that word, so we're going to change it to faith.
Okay.
We're all organic, so we are all tied to everything organic. Not everything organic is perfect, and that's about where I'm at. Everything organic breaks down, but not being able, not having the, what is the term they try to use? Quality of life.
Right.
I feel like I used to.
Did you lose it?
Boy, did I. And I can't get it back.
And hey, let me tell you, that's scary as hell. Because I mean,
I don't want to make anybody think I don't want to. She's not on, right? I don't want to be like Fab.
well, I mean that.
Everybody think I'm trying to one up everybody.
No. You're not.
Hell of a thing when 99.9% of the day you sit there and wait for the last beat.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have to be scary. And, you know, but let me ask you a question. How has that affected your faith, your spirituality?
That 0.1% is begging for that beat to stop.
Sometimes yes,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but but on the other hand, I don't do anything so as not to tempt that.
Okay.
You understand?
I think so.
100%.
Yeah.
Another way he is very limited mobile now.
I don't do hardly anything because anything I do exacerbates my issue.
Right. Right. Right.
So I can play WoW.
Yeah, I completely understand the forgetting words and sentences and what the hell I was talking about because I've
No,
started doing that.
when I said I lost it, I wasn't talking about the topic. I got the topic.
No, I was talking about when you're trying to make a point or you're saying something or you're talking to someone and having an intelligible conversation and all of a sudden you start losing words, you start dropping what you were going to say. The brain backfires and it's like, what the hell were we talking about?
Right. I
Well,
get
that's a daily occurrence for me.
that. That wasn't the issue for the silence.
Right. Okay. All right. No problem. So,
I just
go ahead.
it. I guess most of it is it has caused me to become more angry, and I just
He shuts down.
I have my faith. I just can't use it because my body can't
The
handle it.
the backlash.
Right. Because in order to use my faith, it takes a lot of energy.
Okay. Yeah. And here's one of the things I don't know if people realize or not. One of the things my doctor asked me, she knows that for many, many years I worked on anger management and I still work on it to a degree. Um, Most of you guys that are in channel right now know of my anger management issues. And when you're working on something that makes you feel out of control, unstable, and when I say being unpredictable, I don't mean in a good way. It tends to increase the anger, increase the anxieties, which doubles back into a deeper depression, has been my experience. But when it comes to understanding mental healthness.
Say it.
Oh well, yeah, I guess that's a Freudian slip. Mental healthness, yep. Um, I guess when it comes to mental illness or physical illness or any major catastrophic illness of any kind, I mean, everybody gets a cold. Many people get the flu, and there's a boatload of people that the flu will kill. You know, there are people out there that cannot take the flu shot. So when flu seasons run around, then they have to more or less sequester themselves. But all of this that we're talking about job-related illnesses, environmental illnesses, society-induced illnesses, and right now, since 2020, the entire world is suffering from a society-induced system of illnesses of one kind or another. When I was talking to EAP, our counseling system for the place I work, there are just a few people that are licensed counselors and psychiatrists that work for EAP. The waiting time for them right now, because they are so busy, is 2 to 3 weeks. Now, anybody that knows, you can't shut down a mental illness episode for 2 to 3 weeks while a counselor gets to you. So at least our group has a hotline that you can call if you're having a crash. But the way illnesses, mental or physical, affect one's spirituality, religion, faith, whatever you want to call it, is important. Go, yeah.
How many times I told you to get your ass over here?
Yeah. Yeah. And she says, at my darkest, I question everything. When my head is quieter, I settle into a pattern. And I can honestly say I get that. Yeah, and Debbie says, she's on a indeterminate waiting list because of how overwhelmed the psychological community is right now. And the lady explained it to me that it is 100 times worse than it was prior to 2020. And thank you, Cindy. Cindy just posted the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. There's a phone number there. It's an American phone number.
It works, trust me.
Deb, if y'all have anything like that in the UK and you feel comfortable posting the mental hotline for Scotland, that might help somebody in the UK that watches our videos. So I mean, I don't really want to end up going down a morbid, there's a tear in my beer type conversation, to be perfectly honest. I want to move now. Clint, do you have anything to offer? I know you've got some stuff going on. Did you ever get your mic working? Breaking up. You're breaking up really bad on your mic, Bo.
I think our internet's having issues.
Ah, we heard you that time.
In the way of internet, mental, I don't really have issues at the moment that I know of.
Mental or
Besides being
physical?
My physical, knees, having issues with them because of the work that I do, getting up and down. I just asked them, just help me go through the day. I don't really ask for help or anything. It's like, give me strength and do what I need to do. That's all I can do.
Do you find that your physical difficulties has strengthened, lessened, or no change on your religious spiritual side?
Really, lately it strengthened it. Before it was kind of just the same. But I've had a lot of journeys and stuff where they've shown me little exercises and things that I can do to strengthen my knees, which I've been doing a little bit during the day, even when I'm driving. When I have it on auto, on the cruise, I can do my flexible stuff, and it's been helping my knee.
That's good.
Not
And
to change the subject, but
say again.
invest in some Tommy Copper sleeves.
Say again.
I said not to change the subject, but invest in some Tommy Copper sleeves, compression sleeves for your knees, and then find you a couple of good braces. That'll help with
Yep,
your climbing.
yep. I'm
I've
going to do that.
I've
Got
heard
the
some
ones.
good things about those Tommy Copper knees. They've got them for elbows and knees as well. I've considered it. I just can't justify the cost, and my insurance won't pay for them.
Once I get on the other side, you the ones that do the wrap, their cross wrap on it.
Yeah, be careful with cloth wrap. They'll shut down circulation.
No, cross wrap. It's where it strengthens your knees.
Ah, right. Okay.
Rest.
Right. Well, for those of you that may be watching our live stream on YouTube, if you want to post your story, how maybe an illness, something you may have, or a family member, because it's really hard to watch family members go through stuff as well. Um, that really puts a bind on your own mental and physiological issues. So, I mean, if anybody has a story that they want to share, feel free. Um, if you want to put in, has it increased, decreased, or made no change to your religion or spirituality, one way or the other. But let's let's talk about ways that we have found our spirituality or our religion to help us through. For people that may be watching the pre-recorded broadcast on our archive channels, and for people that may be watching live through other means that doesn't show up on the current viewers section. Um, what have you guys found that you do with your spiritualism that helps you through?
Music.
Bless
Music does.
Cindy, we can't hardly hear you, hon.
Music.
Right, right. Music is good. Anybody else? Bless
With me, going through the day and everything, I try to take a little bit of time in between jobs just to kind of decompress and relax. And sometimes on my power naps that I take about 30 minutes, they'll show me things to get through.
Are you cold?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, power naps are wonderful. Um, Deb says, strangely, it was depression which led her to uncover her shamanism. Yeah, I get that. She said because there's no orthodox treatment help much. There is no orthodox treatment which helps much at all. Yeah, I can actually say I totally understand that. Most other, and I'm not religious bashing by any stretch of the means, so, but many other religions teach you don't worry about fighting it, just put it in God's hands. Well, you know, we covered this before in a video called It's Not God's Fault.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, hold your faith, let it help you, but don't look for just your faith to save you because you've got to do the work. And I think that's one of the things that society has forgotten, to be perfectly honest.
Yep, I think they have.
You know, talking about 2021, and it just fascinates the hell out of me that in 2021 we're still having to have conversation about bigotry and discrimination. We're still having to have conversations about people that don't think the way other people do, therefore they're being cast away. I mean, that still just baffles the hell out of me, which doesn't do anything at all for anybody but drive them deeper into an anxiety, depression hole.
One form or the other.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, Deb said, she said, yep, shamanism gave me the ladder and the tools to climb out of my personal pit of despair. And, you know, I absolutely understand that. You know, my path, excuse me, sorry. My path is shamanism as well, and so is Clint, so is Cindy. Um, Lester is our little Catholic buddy, bless his heart. No.
Paul's our little dragon druid.
And Paul's our little dragon buddy. And but witchcraft, Wicca, Druid, Fae, Asatru, whatever, your faith is your faith. And whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, and people love it when I say this, even atheist, atheism is a faith. Atheism is a religion. Hell, if you don't believe me, look it up. But it's neither good nor bad, one way or the other. What religion you follow, it all comes down to how you follow your religion, your faith, your path, your spiritualism, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the one thing I've noticed, and Deb said it real clear, when you go down the road of mental, physiological, and physical ailments, catastrophic ailments, not just a cold or, you know, something like that, you know, I don't consider hitting the funny bone a catastrophic illness, although you think it is for about 30 seconds. But I found when I first found out my different diagnoses, and of course they're still working on that, I found that it scared the hell out of me long enough for me to go down the rabbit hole of I'm completely useless. Now, irregardless of the reality, whether or not I'm useless, honestly, people have been telling me, dude, you're not useless. Well, okay, I get that, and I appreciate that. But you have to accept that you're not useless.
Paul.
You have to realize.
Sometimes though, it's getting into your head.
It is. It is. I mean, once you have reached a fear factor that you're out of control, been there, done that. Um, and I thank the gods for you know Debbie in Scotland and you guys in Discord and the rest of the people on the rest of the groups that have allowed me to jump up and down and scream and holler and cry like a 2-year-old and
Mhm.
kind of help me vent through this thing. And my family here in my household has been absolutely 100% supportive. And to be honest, I've been amazed by my 15-year-old daughter and how well she stepped up to the plate. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, what more could I ask, you know?
Right.
But the one major thing I could ask is for me to get my own head out of my ass and get it screwed back on my shoulders and get myself in a position where I can go back to work.
Stop cross-threading that damn thing, bruh.
Yeah, right. And if anybody's looking at the camera right now, that's my right hand that's trying to stay stable. And it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I will ever be able to go back to work because typing is. I'm down from 60 words a minute to 10 words a minute. Shut up,
Wow,
Lester.
that now. It was delayed.
Well, I mean, at one point, well, I don't know, over the last 10 years, I've actually gotten up to 80 words a minute with a 90% accuracy at work. And that's using very little of spell check. But of course, my job is documentation, documentation, documentation. You know? So I'm typing from the time I clock in to the time I clock out.
No voice recognition can help?
No, there's no time.
Okay.
Number one, corporate systems do not allow voice recognition unless you go through a whole bunch of hoops to get approved through security for third party software.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that.
And then that third party software does not work in all aspects of the applications we have to use for documentation. We don't just use Word. We've got, well, as a team lead, there are several areas we document. But anyway, case to point, as far as your mental and or physiological or physical illnesses, having a comfortable, constant, steady faith system to lean on, that's one of the best conversations you can have, especially when you're laying yourself down, your body is trying to sleep, and your brain is going num 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 on your head. Um, the meds the doctors got me on, my body goes about an hour after I've taken my meds, so I waddle off to bed. And then when I lay down, my brain starts numbing away of itself like a Pac-Man. Sometimes I
I
can
ain't on meds and mine does that.
say what?
I said I ain't on meds and mine does that.
Yes, well, if I'm not on meds, it's really bad. My legs twitch, my arms twitch, and my head will start bobbing back and forth while I'm trying to lay there and be still. And that's disheartening as hell, folks. You're laying there trying to go to sleep and your head starts doing the Bojangles. You know? Anybody that's ever done the old polka understands. But absolutely, faith and your spirituality and your religion can play a really big part in whatever ailment you have. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the gods are going to snap their fingers and bada bing, bada boom, you're fixed.
Yeah.
Although, I have seen that. I have first-hand experience, not on myself, but on people I've known. Um, I've had first-hand experiences of witnessing faith healing by not just Christian priests, but shamans. I've seen it
Look at
work
my,
with witchcraft. I've seen it work with druidism.
look what happened to my dad. You remember that?
Yes.
The heart grew its own,
Grew,
bypassed itself.
yeah, it grew overnight, grew a veins outside his heart onto his heart. They don't know why.
No comment.
Well, I know why, because of faith. Yeah. It's the scientists are going duh 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 duh.
Yep. Deb says, yeah, uh, Mom had Parkinson's and she felt it very difficult to get rest. And I remember Mom, wonderful lady, absolutely wonderful woman. And no more times than I really actually got to see her when I went to Scotland, and no more times than I've actually been able to get over to Scotland as of late. It's hard to watch. I could not imagine being a caregiver in that situation. There's just no way I could fathom it.
And that's scary for you because you might have it.
Well, I might. I may not.
Yeah.
It's like I said when we were talking pre-broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm not by far convincing myself I have it, although I have a lot of the symptoms. I have purposely, and I don't want anybody to do it for me, but I have purposely not looked up the symptoms of Parkinson's. Because number one, I don't want it set in my head. I'm dealing with enough going on up there right now. So I'm going to wait and let the neurologist do their thing. No, I don't have an appointment yet. I just found out about this Thursday. So Thursday last, and this is Sunday. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Deb says, you just get on with it, and that's what you got to do, you know. I won't be able to work in a job where I'm required to type or use a mouse. That's for damn sure. So we'll see what the spirits say once it all starts to come to fruition, whatever it is. And see, that is one of the things you can lean on when you're looking at diagnoses that are scaring the hell out of you. Lean on spirit to say, okay, look, I'm fixing to be a babbling idiot for a little while. I'm going to need some help. And I've found over the last 6 or 8 months or a year that they have helped as much as it can. They've done everything they can do. Thank you, Deb. Uh, Deb says, if it helps, I perceive your energy to be more like um, Dad's essential trimmers as opposed to Mom's Parkinson's. Yeah, I mean, if that ends up being what it is, then it is what it is, but I still can't type or work a mouse. Um, a little funny, I play Sims 4 a lot. I'm kind of sort of addicted to it. And anybody that's ever played Sims 4 and built a house, it requires some pretty intricate mouse movements.
Oh yeah.
Well, it takes me 3 days to do what I used to do in a couple of 2 or 3 hours. Because when you're trying to draw a straight line with a mouse down a grid, that straight line's going baby, 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 baby. Kind of looks like an EKG device. So, I guess let's think of it this way. What advice would you guys offer someone that watches our pre-recorded broadcast or watches them live? What advice would you personally be comfortable giving people to help them through with their religion, faith, spirituality, whatever?
Oh. He's shaking his head.
Well, I mean, some people are not comfortable discussing it, number one.
Yeah.
But
I guess help with the mental state. Let everybody, if they're having mental stress, some people are hard to talk about it, but a lot of people need to talk about it. So if they need to talk, we have several counselors here that can help them. Also,
be sure and put the word spiritual counselor.
Spiritual counselor. Excuse me.
None of us are licensed counselors or psychologists.
No, we are not. But we're here. We have an ear for anybody that needs to. I gave the 800 number. Suicide hotline just doesn't mean about suicide. It means mental help. It means they will listen, and they can guide you on somewhere to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the biggest jokes I've always said is, how do you counsel the counselor?
Very hard.
I mean, you know, any of us that have been pagan ministers in the spiritual counseling system for any length of time at all, you kind of already know what a counselor is going to tell you. But here's the thing, and how many times have I been told this by others? It's different from hearing it in your own head and someone that you trust telling you the same thing. And like Deb says, you know, it's tough, it takes time, and just hang tight. Hang in there. Deb says, how do you counsel the counselor? Hugs and space and quietness. Hugs and space and quietness. Sometimes you're dead on. You know, there's sometimes you just want to disconnect from society. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to hear from anybody. But, ladies and gentlemen, that can be counterintuitive. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody that you have to talk about things that you don't, by God, want to talk about. But I am going to tell you that it's good to let it out in spurts with a person, people, group, counselor, psychiatrist, whatever, let it out in segments. Make a conscious choice to lean on whatever religion you follow, but don't use your religion as a crutch. There's a difference.
Yeah, there is.
There's a difference between leaning on someone's shoulder to help you walk, and there's a difference in jumping up in their arms and forcing them to carry you. Okay? Walk your walk, but understand there's people that will help and will listen and not spread your business all over the internet. There are people that will listen and not tell you, oh, well, just put it in God's hands and He'll handle it. But I would from out. Deb says at some point at my lowest points, you just kept talking. She says, I have no idea what you said, but the fact that you just kept talking anchored me while I went through the
Karasume. Like a hurricane.
oh, tsunami. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. But I'm gonna close with this, okay? Like Deb said, I just kept talking. I don't know when to shut up. I have to watch the clock to tell me when to shut up. But lean on your faith. Don't use it as a crutch. Lean on people that you trust. Don't use it as a crutch. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you have to walk the walk, and you have to do the work. But there are people and organizations that will listen. We can't fix it, but we can listen and maybe come up with a couple of ideas. Just remember, your religion is there to help you. They're not going to wiggle their nose and fix it overnight. You still have to do the work. Well, guys, hopefully next week we can have a little better upbeat topic. I don't have one yet. Nobody's given me one yet, but we'll see what happens. So, hey, you guys have a wonderful week. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time here on Open Pagan Church.